I had to kill you. I'm really sorry. I had to do it. Gotta go on my own. I had to kill you. I took it.
Hi, and welcome to episode 35 and the last one of Series 1. We're finished Series 1, guys. Where have we gone? Where has the time gone? Can't believe it. But don't worry, we'll be back next week with Series 2. But to finish off Series 1, we are joined tonight by Pierre Atri. He will know him as Gabriel in this small show. He was also Caden, CJ Johnson, in Casualty, and Mammalus in the Browner Theatre Live's version of A Winter's Tale in the Garrick Theatre. So without further ado, let's welcome Pierre Atri. Hi.
Hello.
Welcome. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
No, it's all privilege and all ours. Definitely, it's great to have you. It's great to learn a bit more about you and the parts you've played and how you've touched the arts industry. Obviously, the arts industry has a big darkness over it at the moment, more so the theatre.
That's
TV
true, yeah.
has slowly started.
Started again, yeah.
Slowly, but the TV side of things has started. But theatre obviously has no sign of light at the moment, which is why we've come into play. And we're getting to know a bit about you guys, what makes the theatre tick. So the first question, as West End Talk fans will know, because we ask it the same question every time, is what got you into performing?
What got me into performing? So basically, I did an end of school play around, I think it was 10 years ago, maybe. I might have been 7 or 8 years old. So I did an end of year school play, and our drama teacher, to distribute the roles, she put all the roles, all the names on a little piece of paper, and she put in a top hat sort of thing. And we all picked out the roles one by one, every student of the class. And I picked out the protagonist of the play. So lucky me. But since we were quite young, we divided the role in three students to play the same role. And I think I was the second person to play it. I think I had the most to say, so that was also good. We did the play. I never knew theatre was something I wanted to do, because I watched a bit of films, but I never did anything remotely close to theatre. But I did it. I loved it, and then at the end, the parents that were in the auditorium, they told my parents that they should sign me up for an acting school. So they did, and I started doing auditions, and that's where it all escalated.
The rest is history, as the saying goes.
The rest is history.
The rest is history. It all went from there. That's brilliant. So you talked about the role that you were in school with, but what was your first major role? Your first kind of in a performing arts school or out of?
Well, my first paid job was for a little cameo thing for Fashion Week 2012, I think. And I played fashion designer Roland Murray as a little child. Right. And they aired that at the Fashion Week, London Fashion Week. And I was co-starring with Jeff Bell, which I thought was really, really cool.
He was just name dropping already there.
Yeah, I remember he was super nice, but at the time I didn't know who he was. And then most of the people I've worked with, I didn't know who they were at the time of me actually working with them. It's after me seeing their work that I realized that is a pretty important person, which is, it's kind of disappointing. But then I think it's good, because if I did know who they were, it might make me like a bit more nervous. But that was my first paid job. And I think my first major role was a Donkey Heart. It was a play that was at the Old Red Lion Theatre in Islington, I think. So I did that, and it had a bit of success. So it got renewed for the West End. So they got me back, and I did it at the Trafalgar Studios. And on both occasions, had the most fun. It was so good. I will not
So
forget
how
it.
old were you at that point? Because that was what, 5.5 years ago?
So that was around, I must have been around 10 to 12, between 10 and 12 years old, I think.
Wow.
Mm.
Wow, that's amazing. So, because I remember seeing that back in the Trafalgar Studios, it was 5.5 years ago, because it was January 2015, to be exact. So it was a short run, but it was my first ever play. It was my first, but the Trafalgar Studios didn't have a major run anyway. They didn't really have major runs. They only have short runs usually.
Yeah. Well, I think
but
the decision of making the sort of set like quite small and sort of not having a massive sort of auditorium, making the production design a bit more small. I think they were trying to add that to the whole atmosphere and vibe to the play. But
yeah, because in case anybody didn't see it, obviously it was a Russian play, and it's set in Moscow, and it's set in a one flat basically, isn't it? And most of it's set in the one flat. So I think the small set actually helped, because it made you feel like you were in this small flat.
Yeah.
Yeah, and basically, for anyone who doesn't know, it was basically the Russian version of EastEnders. I think it's a good way of putting it.
Yeah, you could put it that way.
It was like a soap. Everything happened. Yeah, it was really good. I do remember it, like genuinely do remember it. And it was, yeah, as I say, I only remember it mainly because it was my first play. I think that's the biggest, or certainly my first West End play that I remember seeing. So anyway, we'll move on. West End Talks holds no responsibility for the next set of questions, as they come from either your fans or fans of the shows that we've been in. There's nothing major, don't worry.
This is exciting.
We're not asking your bank details or your inner leg length or anything like that. It's all questions about the roles you've played. So we'll change the background, because the background can change. We'll come back to that one, because you've got lots of questions on that TV show. But we'll start kind of probably the beginning, and certainly in the beginning of the three major roles that we're going to talk about anyway. This is the first one that you had, and what a one to start with. Like, wow. So the first question comes from Lisa, and she asks, what was it like working under the direction of Kenneth Browner?
Now, when I auditioned, I think I did 2 auditions, no more. I did the first audition, they liked me, and I got a recall, and the recall was with Kenneth Browner and Rob Ashford, and 1 or 2 more individuals of their production team. So, and I remember walking up the stairs to the audition room, and I remember my father saying, so these are like A-list, like high-profile celebrities, so like don't be scared or sort of intimidated if they come off cold or stuff like that. So I was stepping carefully, but it wasn't anything like that. I didn't meet one person that was not nice to me. The way it was just throughout the whole experience was just amazing. Kenneth can be someone that's, I mean, I know it was 5 years ago, but I feel like I remember it like it was yesterday. But it's very, he talks to you like a mentor. It was very, it wasn't mean or anything. If you wanted to switch something up, he'd tell me, and we just work around it, and it was just really good, really good.
He seems that kind of person anyway.
Yeah.
I've seen him live. I've never met the man, but I've seen him live, and he certainly seems that kind of way. That he knows what he wants, but he can put it across nicely.
Yeah.
I think that's certainly from a fan's point of view, that or from an audience member, that's how it comes across. So Tom says it was a massive cast. Just to name a few, in case anybody didn't see it, to name a few, you obviously had Kenneth Browner in it. You had yourself, you had Jessie Buckley, Judi Dench, the Dame herself, Hadley Fraser, and Adam Garcia. And that's just to name a few of them. That's not to name them all, because there was quite a few. So who got you more starstruck? Was there a one that got you kind of?
Was it the most starstruck? Well, I remember since I was opening the play with Judi Dench, I think when at that age, I I don't think I realized the full extent of how big of an opportunity this is and how important, like, this is a milestone. Even though it happened so early in my life, it's very, very important. I just knew her as M from James Bond. That's literally all I knew her from. And it was when I got older, like I said before, it was as I got older that I realized I'm performing alongside Dame Judi Dench. I'm opening a West. It's now I think about it, like, I think if I did it now, I would have like messed up the premiere night or something. It was, she was amazing. Completely.
I think legend's used quite often, but I think it's safe to say this one's a legend, definitely.
Yeah, it's just very natural to her. It's just she does this all the time. You feel like she knew the script from the back of her hand as soon as we went in the rehearsal for the first time. But I think who I was most starstruck with was Jessie Buckley, I think, because was 2015? 2015 Jessie Buckley. It was before she blew up, I think, before she got the Chernobyl part, before she got that part in the feature film that
Rose Turn.
There we go, that one. So she wasn't completely unknown, not taking anything away from her, but she wasn't as recognized as she was now, and she had a big singing role in the play. And I just remember I never saw someone sing like that, like on stage. Like she hit those notes. Like I remember just on stage warming up just before the show. She'd do these vocal warm-ups and she'd reach like a really high note. I was like, wow, that's pretty amazing. And her little scenes with Tom Bateman, I was just watching sometimes when I was just before going on stage, I was watching from the wing and I could see both of them just completely dominate the stage. It was just, it was amazing. And you could definitely like just see the chemistry between them. It was amazing. And nothing short of, it was spectacular. So I think Jessie Buckley and Tom Bateman were the members of cast I was most starstruck with, definitely.
Yeah, no, that's great. I think for anyone who doesn't know who Jessie is, obviously Jessie was probably, for us guys in the West End, most famous probably for doing The Search for Dorothy. She was one of the contestants in that years ago. I think that was 10 years ago maybe. But yeah, so that's brilliant. So moving on, Miranda says, if you could be in any other Shakespeare play, what would you be in and who would you play?
I'm not gonna lie. I'm not too.
Not up in your Shakespeare.
I'm not up in my shape in terms of Shakespeare, but what I can say is that I had tremendous amounts of fun playing Mamilius for Winter's Tale. Back then, in English class, we did a bit of Shakespeare, but the very Midsummer Night's Dream, which is the very basic stuff. But I know I don't think I don't really know how to. I don't think I have I don't think I have an adequate answer for that one, to be honest. Unfortunately,
that's not a problem. Not everybody's up in their Shakespeare. I'd struggle with that one, to be honest. I would just know a few. Hamlet, because it's a Scottish one. That's the only reason I know that. We did that in quite a lot in our school, for obvious reasons. So Paige says, what was the hardest thing about playing Malamus?
Hardest thing about playing this? Now, I don't think there was anything really like there was a hard step to do. There was a hard process into getting into character or anything. I was only 13. I didn't know anything about method acting or anything like that. But I remember there was this one time on stage. Now we were 2 months into the show's run, so we did a fair few number of shows. But I remember there was this one show where a couple things went wrong. So I went. It was a moment where I went on stage. So it was me and Ken on stage, and there's this moment where I'm playing with him, and I have this egg, and I'm supposed to balance on his nose, and so he has a little bit of glue on his nose that the audience can't see, obviously, and they sort of poke a hole in the egg to like drain all the yolk out so it's light, and so I take the egg and I balance it on his nose, and I was so in the moment and so like the adrenaline pumping and everything that I sort of abruptly put like kind of smashed the egg on his nose, and like it was cracked in half, and it was just not the thing to do. It was just it was. But the thing is, that's not what that wasn't the worst. That wasn't the worst part. Like it was just me and him on stage, and we were just sort of trying to bring everything back to normal. So we kind of managed to build a level of calm. We kept our cool, and then I think Hadley Fraser and Miranda, it was their cue to come on stage, and at that time, so that's just after the whole egg bit, and when they come on stage on ice skates, kind of. And Hadley's ice skates, like they were notorious for like the laces sort of getting intertwined and sort of delaying the run of the play. But it was never really a big problem. It was kind of like a bit of a hassle in rehearsals. But on that night, the night where I accidentally smashed the egg on Ken's nose, that was a night of all nights that the laces decided to stick to Hadley's skates, and I don't think he could take the skates off properly before coming on stage. And so there was a silence of around 10 seconds silence of just me and Ken waiting for Hadley and Randa's entrance. And let me tell you, those are the longest 10 seconds of my life. Like it was incredible. I thought it was never going to end. Like it was around 6 seconds. I was like, okay, so they're not going to come. Are we just going to end the play here? Is the audience just going to pack their bags and go home? Like what's going to happen? Like we sort of improvised a bit because I remember in my audition, the second audition, after me and Ken went through the script, he told me we did a bit of improv, and so he fed me a line, and I reacted like I would think Mamilius would react, and that same exact sort of thing happened on that night, the night where disastrous night, I guess. And so I felt, okay, so I've still got the Mamilius in me. It's not I'm not completely taken over by nerves and whatnot. But there was a small there was a long pause, and we lost eye contact so that Ken could go back to the wing just to see what was going on, but still remaining in character, just not to make sure the audience thinks this is a complete fluke, like this is not going to work. But Hadley and Miranda eventually managed to take their skates off and enter, and all was well after that. And then at the end after the audience left and we're all in our dressing rooms, we all Ken went into all the dressing rooms to say we did really good. It could have gone much worse, but we handled it well, so that was good. So yeah, I think that was the hardest thing I'd ever had to do in that Mamilius sort of a role thing.
I think that's the hardest thing Indian life theatre's got to do, is if anything goes wrong, how do you fix it? I think that's no matter what age you are, no matter what play or what musical.
Because you can never prepare it. That's the thing. Like you can never be too prepared about something like that's going to happen, because anything can happen at any time. That's the scary part.
And you can't physically plan for everything to go wrong, because there's things that you just would never think would go wrong.
Yeah. Exactly. So like the egg thing.
Yeah, you would never think that would have went wrong, whereas it did. Yeah. But it's how you pull them back. It's not what goes wrong, it's how you pull it back, or do you let the audience see? That's the other thing. Like, or do you make it look like that was meant?
Yeah. Because then, was during the whole silence. I kept thinking, does the audience know? Does the audience know that this is not in the script? That was something that was kind of worrying me. But
the only way they would have known that it wasn't in the script is had they seen it after they had seen it before. So if they were a return reviewer, if they'd seen it for the first time, then they would never have known that that wasn't part of the script, unless you guys on the stage made it. Seen that way, and 9 times out of 10, most mistakes actually go unnoticed. You'll talk to folk at the stage door, you'll talk to actors at the stage door, and they'll say, "Oh, did you see that? Or did you notice that?" And we'll go, "No, we never noticed that." You know what I mean? So it's quite unbelievable how people can hide mistakes. Moving on slightly, Fraser asked, would you ever do a musical?
Oh, that is a good question. Now the thing is, so I auditioned for Matilda, like, I think it was even before Winter's Tale. It might have been before or after. I'm not sure, but I auditioned for Matilda. And so, bear in mind, I never watched musicals before. Like, singing and dancing wasn't really my thing. It was just mainly just the acting. But anyhow, I auditioned for Matilda years ago. And so for the audition, you had to sing a piece of whatever you wanted to sing. So I had a bit of Bugsy Malone that I did for my theatre school. So so that's the only song that I probably know of by heart that I've already performed. So I'm gonna play it safe. I'm gonna go with that. So I had the Bugsy Malone for the singing part. You had to have an acting. Oh no, yeah. So they did a bit of acting part with them. You read a bit of line with another auditionee. That was the acting part, and then we had to sort of prepare a little speech thing, and my agent didn't specify in the email that we had to do a speech. So since it's Matilda, like they didn't audition one kid at once. It was just a circle of, I don't know, like I think we were like 10 kids. They would just audition us in packs of 10 kids, and we were all sitting in a circle, and I was listening to all of them just give their speech one by one, and I was like, oh my God, I do not have anything. This is just going to look so bad. I don't have anything prepared. So I did so that got me worried. So I did the lines thing. That was all good. I didn't have any speech, so that got me super worried. I had to tell them, I didn't. It was not in the email. It's typical email excuse, but whatever. So I said it wasn't the email, so I don't have a speech. Sorry. So that was already strike one, and then obviously they were super calm about it. Like, oh, it's fine. But obviously it wasn't fine. Like if you haven't prepared 30% of the audition, like chances are you're not going to get recalled. So that already sort of bummed me out. And then the last part was the singing part. Now I was so put off by the not having prepared a speech that I completely flung my Bugsy Malone bit. So that was that. That put me off even more for musicals, because already singing wasn't my strong suit. I just did that for the acting. But yeah, so the Matilda didn't go as planned, and I don't really watch musicals on a sort of regular basis. So I'm afraid to say that if I don't sort of train in singing, because I don't do any instrument, it really is purely, and I don't dance. I like to dance, but I don't do choreography and stuff.
You don't like choreography. So, there's two different types of dancing. I dance, but I don't do choreography.
Exactly. So everyone sings, but I don't sing like on stage. Like I sing like in the shower. There's a difference between singing in the shower and then singing on stage in front of thousands of.
Everybody can sing in the shower. Not everybody can stand up in the Royal Albert Hall.
There we go.
I mean,
so I think if I were to do musicals, I'd have to train a lot in singing and dancing. That's the main thing. Yeah.
So you're mainly plays and TV and film.
There we go.
That's a kind of, you're more of an actor than in a musical theatre.
I guess, yeah.
That's fine. Not everybody kind of can do everything, so that's not a problem. So moving on slightly, not slightly, moving on dramatically to probably your biggest role so far, I would say, certainly on TV set standards. Just a small TV show that's
just a small TV
just
show.
a small one. Now in season 3, you were in one episode.
One
to
episode
me,
of season 2.
Yes, the very first episode of season 2, actually.
Episode of,
and you were also in the very first episode of Gogglebox, Celebrity Gogglebox.
Yeah, Celebrity Gogglebox.
Which was very random when I sat and watched it the other day.
That was lucky. Yeah.
I'm like, oh, there's that guy I'm interviewing next week. That was quite funny. So, but that's obviously not, you did an audition for Gogglebox, that just happened to happen. But Killing Eve obviously was a massive part, massive part to get. You played Gabriel,
Gabriel,
who was a car crash victim, wasn't he?
He was a car crash victim, the only survivor, having his parents pass away from the crash, and so I'm in a hospital that I have the
before you say any more, if
chance.
anybody's watching, 2 seconds, if anybody's watching and hasn't seen it and wants to see it, there will be spoilers in the next bit.
There'll be very big spoilers.
There will be big spoilers. We can't talk about it and not spoil it. So if anybody's watching that doesn't want to hear anything, skip by this bit.
Yeah.
Sorry, continue.
Gabriel, who finds himself in the hospital with multiple facial scars and wounds after from the aftermath of being in a car crash, and has the fortunate is a stretch, but has the chance of being in the same hospital room as Villanelle, played by Jody, as I'm sure most of you know. But there we go. That's the one.
There's my finger here. This is her bent over.
But yeah, and so season 2, first episode, and I think just a little. I'm in a little bit of the second episode right after that in a newspaper or something. But yeah.
Oh, so yeah.
I didn't watch. I probably shouldn't say. I don't know if I should say this, but I didn't watch the. I only watched my episode. I don't know if that makes me vain, but I didn't watch the. I watched the whole.
Makes a bit. Normally actors don't watch their episodes.
Yeah, that's the thing. Because I after watching the my episode, I at first I didn't like my performance. I was very critical of myself. I think there's a word for that. You know, like someone that just doesn't always very critical of their performance, or someone that just looks at their work and just But at first I didn't really like it. I didn't really like what I saw, to be honest, in terms of my performance.
Your performance? Well, I thought your performance was fantastic, and I'm sure these fans will certainly, I'm sure they'll all agree with me. So the first question comes from Ashley, and she asked, how did it come about? So how did Killing Eve come about?
How does it come about? Well, things just come as they just, it really is, it's just luck. That's the thing with the industry. It can be totally random. It's just luck. So it was 2-3 years ago. So it was just, this was right before, I think it was during the end of my school year. I did an audition for my agent said a big American TV series. So they only aired season 1. So it wasn't nearly as big as it is now. So I didn't think too much of it. I was like, okay, so this is a pretty cool credit to have. It's a pretty cool thing to have in your CV, but I didn't think too much of it. So I went for the audition. Audition was I think it was in Leicester Square, I think. I did the audition, and now that I remember, like I didn't think the audition went well at all. But that's the thing. You can never be too sure with auditions, because you can think that you've done an amazing job at an audition. You think, oh, my acting was perfect. The person auditioning, the casting director he looked like he loved me and all that stuff. But it really is, if you've got the look that they want, most chances is you're gonna get a recall. You can never be too sure. So I didn't think I did really well, but it turns out they like what they like me. So
Oh, they must have done the cast you.
yeah, well, 30 minutes later, I left. I finished audition. I left. I was walking in Leicester Square. 30 minutes later, they called me. They called my agent saying that the director wanted to see me. So that never happened to me. Getting a recall 30 minutes after the actual audition, I was like, okay, this is pretty serious. I think I might actually get a good shot at this. So I did the recall like a couple days ago, a couple days after that.
Yeah.
And I did it with the director and one or two members of production. And we went through, I'm trying to remember what part of the episode we went through. Well, I think we went through the whole, spoiler alert.
We'll get to that bit later, yes.
We went through the whole, the main part of the episode, the whole shocking part of the episode. So we went through that and we talked over the episode. I gave him my views on what I thought about about the whole part of the episode, and how I thought it sort of differentiated that sort of kill, sort of separated itself from all the other of the Venel kills. And so I think he agreed with me. He said that I was correct in what I was saying. So I could sense that he was I had a fairly good shot at this, but also a main fact in what in how I got that role was because I could speak French, and that sort of eliminated a whole hassle that could have been if they took another non-fluent actor to speak French. But it just happened that I could speak French. I was in the right place at the right time. I looked the role, and I got a recall 30 minutes later, and then bang. And I think of no more than a few days then, I got the call that they wanted me to do the show. So yeah, it was really good.
That's again, what a great credit to have on your CV, because it's an instantly, watch it or not, it's an instantly recognisable TV show.
Yeah.
It's one of the biggest dramas to come out of the BBC in years.
Yeah, it's just after that second season aired, that's when I understood like the gravity of the whole situation. Like, it was just, wow, a lot of people watch this show. I didn't realize a lot of people watch this show. Then I get my friends from school sending me these stories on Instagram and this post on social media saying, look, Hailey Bieber watches Killing Eve. I was like, wow, that's pretty cool. And I just sort of a ton of celebrities watch Killing Eve. Mm-hmm. I'd go on Google and type Killing Eve season 2, and I'd watch these articles of like Steven Spielberg watches Killing Eve. He finds it really. I definitely saw a Spielberg article in there. Not an article he wrote, but an article mentioning that
he was involved. Yeah.
That he liked. The
Obamas watch it.
Oh, the Obamas watch it. Well, hey,
the Obamas watch it.
That is really cool.
No, Michelle does. I saw her tweet about it. I don't know about Barack, but Michelle tweeted about it.
Wow, that's cool.
She at least watches it. I can't comment on Barack.
Well, knowing that the former First Lady of the United States watches your show, well, wow. That's a lot to take in. I can't lie. See, that was my reaction with all the other celebrities that I see on TV and I just follow on social media, and just having them just know what your face looks like. It's pretty cool.
Well, the thing is, if anybody had watched the episode, they don't really know what your face looks like.
That's the thing. That's also something. Yeah, that's also something very annoying, because I've never been. I think if I didn't have any of the bandage, there we go. I've got half my face covered. My hair's much longer, I think. Same length. I don't know.
I would say it's about the same length as it is now.
Yeah, about the same length. But the whole head covered. You cannot recognize my eye because it's a whole black eye. But I think if I didn't have any of that because I've never been stopped in the street for a picture for that, for the Kidding Eve. But I think that if I didn't have any of that sort of whole bandage covering half my face, looking like a pizza, then I think maybe I would have gone stopped. But a lot of my friends have that whole pizza line. My friends have not got enough of that.
I can imagine, yes.
one friend in particular, I'm not gonna name drop or anything, but pizza face is just number one comeback to anything. I don't know. I just let her have it because I can't be asked to deal with just. But yeah, I've gotten used to it.
Yeah, I'm a star, so I can take it. You know,
Yeah.
I'm famous. Wait, what have you done in your life? Oh, I mean, I was in Killing Eve. What have you done? I mean, so comment what you like.
Exactly.
What you like? Anyway, so Jack wants to know how long was the filming?
Oh, the film was only like 2-3 days. It was very short, but the rehearsals was 2 or 3 weeks. We did the rehearsals in Holborn, central London.
Right.
That was that was when I met I met Jody for the first time, and we did the table read also in central London. That's where I met all the cast. I met everyone except Kim Bodnia, who plays Constantine, I think.
Yeah.
I think it was. Yeah, I think he was maybe him and Kenny. I didn't see Kenny.
Right.
But I saw Jody, I saw Fiona, and I saw Sarah, and everyone there. And
You met Harry Potter's aunt.
yeah, I did. Yeah, I did. But I
Did a lot more than that, but just
yeah, you just know her as Harry Potter's aunt. But that was the table read was like just a couple days after I finished the first season. So these were like all people that I just saw on my phone, like on the screen on my phone. So like it was a pretty cool moment. But we did the table read for the first episode, and I remember after Fiona Shaw meeting Fiona Shaw, shaking her hand, saying that I read very well. I was very flattered by that. So thank you very much. And I also met Sarah O, but that was all of the actors except Jody, where the only time I met them, because on set the scenes were only with me and her, so I didn't get to spend any more time with Sarah O or Fiona Shaw. But yeah, it was just 1 or 2 weeks of rehearsal in central London, and then 2 or 3 days of filming in Northampstead, up north. Not up north, but just a few.
let's say 5 minutes away from where I am. I'm in Watford.
Yeah. Oh, yes. Yeah.
So literally about 5 minutes, 2 minutes away from me.
Yeah. They took an abandoned. What was it? Abandoned. It was abandoned something, and they.
Is it Bovingdon by any chance? 'Cause it is abandoned airfield, and there's big kind of no tankers, but big sheds and everything that they use for filming. Was that a nice film there?
Probably, yeah, because I think it's been used a lot for multiple sets. But they took that abandoned sort of thing, and they sort of changed it to make it look like a Parisian hospital, which was a shame because, fun fact, the producers were kind of iffy. They didn't know if they wanted to fully go with first episode of second season. We're going to start with a banger. We're going to get an underage child and we're going to crack its neck. We're going to snap his neck. They weren't too sure about that. So it was like, okay, maybe we can make him escape with Villanelle out of the hospital, and so like he's a sidekick and whatnot.
That's what I thought. Watching the episode, I genuinely thought that's what it was building up to. She was going to adopt him, kind of thing.
If that happened, that would have been amazing. But sadly, they decided to go through with the much more rough ending of the season, and I didn't manage to escape the hospital with Villanelle. My life ended there.
Just seconds before. That was just
Seconds
seconds
before the worldwide shock.
It was it probably still to this day for Killing Eve. Probably one of the most shocking deaths.
I remember getting the recall for the I remember getting the recall for the for this, and going over my lines for the scene, and it was for that scene of the whole this. I remember reading this in my bed, and I was reading the script, and that whole moment, the sort of the suspense builds up, and we're like, oh god, this is because I watched the first season and I was watching this. Well, this is not like Villanelle. She's being really nice right now.
She was nice.
Wow,
she was cuddling you.
Yeah, I was like, yo, this is wow. This is very important. I was reading. I was like, something was off, and I was wait, and then I read like the stage direction. She like snaps his neck. Like my jaw dropped. I was in bed, and I just remember I was like, there's no way they're actually going to do. There's no way they're going to pull that off. But I was wrong. They did pull that off, and yeah.
If you've seen the episode, you know for a fact she managed to pull it off.
Yeah.
It was certainly it shocked. I don't think anybody could really watch it and say that it didn't shock them, because I think they would be lying. Because I genuinely thought that she was going to not adopt him as in his son, but like adopt him as a sidekick kind of idea, take him with them, because she wasn't the typical Villanelle as she was in the first season. She killed in the first season, and that was like she was like eating dinner at that point. That's literally what she was doing.
Yeah, but there were like two main reactions to that whole to the Gabriel death. So it was either complete and utter shock, so just jaw drop, or extreme laughter. It was really one or the other.
Explain the laughter situation. How could you laugh at it?
Because I'm with you, because I feel like, how could you laugh at that? Well, when we watched it, when it came here in England on BBC One, we watched it. I'd already seen the episode because I streamed it off like a website or something. But I just streamed it beforehand. And there was a sort of inside joke with the makeup team. It was like, oh, we all watched it. We all went on the streaming sites to watch the season early and all that. But I watched my episode, so I knew it was going to come. But my family didn't. So my dad, once he saw Gabriel's death, his own son dying on national TV, burst out laughing. Thanks, Dad.
Now that you put it that way, I can slightly understand. From that point of view, I can see why you laughed.
Okay, yeah. So you can see that. But then, as you mentioned, Celebrity Gogglebox, you see them reacting to it. And I'm pretty sure most of them, if not all of them, is complete and utter shock.
Yeah.
One of the girls from Little Mix. I mean, I don't listen to Little Mix, so I don't know any of their names. But one of them just found it really funny. I don't know.
She did, yes, she did. I remember that.
Yeah, you remember it? Because I know it wasn't.
I don't remember which one it was because I'm terrible.
It wasn't Perry. She was the blonde one, right? It wasn't her. It was another one. But
I remember that because she gets very awkward in situations like that.
Oh yeah.
She's the type of person
I don't take it personally, but
I don't think she was laughing at that. I think she was laughing at the whole situation.
Yeah.
Because I'm that type of. If I'm in a serious situation, I find myself kind of laughing sometimes.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't think it was more the death. I think it was the situation she was in more than anything. I could be wrong. I'm not her mind, so I can't speak for her. But Rebecca she touches on your co-star, and she wants to know, what was it like working with Jody?
It was really good. It was she was super nice. She was you could see that when you were sort of alongside her, working alongside her, you could see that it wasn't her like in Villanelle. She wasn't even acting. Like, it just came naturally to her. It's one of those roles that you see Jodie Comer, you see, oh no, that's Villanelle, because she is that role. It's just, she's not even, it just comes natural to her. So you could just see, you were just alongside her, and I didn't feel intimidated at all. It was just very, it was a very good, calm, good workspace. I learned a lot, and I had lots of fun. It was really good. But the weather was really warm. I remember on set the weather was really warm, and I had a microphone strapped to my back, and all the makeup. It was a lot to take in. But if not, Jody was amazing. The director David Thomas was amazing, and everyone on set was a treat to work with. So it was really good. Mm.
Fantastic. So Lydia asks, do you go about gloating that you were killed by Jody?
No.
Because I would. I know I would.
Well, I don't. No, I don't really. But when people ask me, I mean, when I'm in class, like, because I go to a French school, we can't really, so much more strict, and you can't like go in French class say, Miss, can you put my episodes on BBC iPlayer? Can you put it on just to see everyone? But in English class, my English teacher loves me, so I convinced her to, during the break, to put the bit of me getting killed by Villanelle, so that all of my peers could watch me die on TV, and so they would believe me. But yeah, I don't. If other than that, like I don't really. Nah, I don't think I gloat about it.
It's not in your Facebook bio, like, oh, I was killed by
Yeah.
Jodie Comer.
Mm.
No, not that kind of thing. Tony does makeup, so she's
Mhm.
touched on how long were you in makeup for?
So,
To get
how
pizza
long was
face
I
done.
makeup for? Yeah. Well, it was quite a few steps. So the main thing was the skin grafts, the whole where my bandage is. Yeah, there we go. I mean, yeah, there we go. That part, that was a skin graft. You can sort of see it sticking out from the bandage. That was the challenge for the makeup for the makeup team. No, I was with Lucy Kane, I think, if you know who that is, because apparently, because everyone I work on, everything I work with, I asked, oh, do you know who this is in the makeup department? Because apparently they all know who they. It's like a very tight knit sort of part of the industry. So that was Lucy's main challenge, getting the skin graft done. So for that, so she started doing that early in the rehearsal part, not in the filming. It was early in the rehearsal part, and she had to get the right skin tone for my face, and she had to get the prosthetics. She had to do all that, and figuring all that out was maybe took her an hour and a half, figuring all the skin graft and all that. And then doing the black eye and the makeup around my face and all that. It was an hour and a half for the first couple times. And then once she probably had the skin graft done, she could just pop it on, pop it off, so we could switch like that in between scenes. And then it only took half an hour. But those first sessions of sitting in the chair, getting your face. And the thing is, the skin graft wasn't even the worst part. To me, the worst part is anything around the eyes. God, I hate anything around the eyes, because it just touches the lashes, and it just gets super itchy. It's just extremely irritating, and you can't touch it because you don't want to mess up the makeup. So, because time is money on productions, especially high value productions like that. So you don't want to delay the whole production. You don't want to mess anything up. So I just I was trying to push through, and
You managed it.
I managed it. Didn't let it affect me, but yeah, it was long at the start, but then it became quicker later on.
Yeah, certainly. Because obviously you saw, for the end again, spoiler, but we've said that at the beginning, you took the bandage off at one point, or Villanelle took the bandage off at one point, didn't she? And you saw Pizza Face. Because that is a line from the show, isn't it? She calls you Pizza Face.
Yeah.
Or do you call it? I can't remember. She calls you Pizza Face.
Your face looks like a pizza.
That's what it was, yeah.
Yeah.
So Alan touches on the actual killing. I think he's a bit morbid. He wants to know, how did it happen? Like, obviously you didn't actually die because you're sitting right next to me. But how did it visually work?
So we had a stunt coordinator to tell us what to do and how to do it without hurting ourselves, obviously. So I thought it was going to be like a big, training, planning stunt, because I was kind of excited. Oh, stunt coordinator! Oh, we're gonna do a whole thing. It's gonna be really cool. But it was just literally 20 minutes before actually filming the take. The stunt coordinator took us like in a room, like the room right next, and he told us, so this is what we're gonna do. So Jody, I'm gonna do all the movements. So Jody's gonna have her hand. She's gonna place one hand here, next to my cheek, just under, and one hand here, and she's just gonna follow through with my head movement, right? So she's not actually gonna like exert any force. She's just gonna follow through with her hands. And so the stunt coordinator was off camera, obviously, and he did a 3, 2, 1, and on 1 I like abruptly like turned my head, and Jody just followed through with her hands, and they added in the whole all that. They added all that in post, and they obviously took off the 3, 2, 1. But yeah, it was fairly simple. I didn't realize how easy and effective it was. But yeah, it was just not hard at all. It was just quick.
Not hard. It looks really hard. Watching it back and then, like,
oh yeah,
how did that? Like, it looks absolutely fantastic.
Yeah.
I mean, just it looks gruesome. I'll be honest.
Yeah.
It does look gruesome.
Yeah.
So moving on from one hospital to another. Because since then you have gone to another hospital.
I know. I just keep getting.
You just moved from hospital to hospital. You were in an episode of Casualty, big Saturday night drama. So going from one prime time drama to another, I would say, slightly longer running. So Sandy touches on, and she wants to know, what was it like working on Casualty?
It was amazing. It was really. I hadn't not anything personal against Killing Eve, the whole Killing Eve cast, but I had more fun on Casualty than I did in Killing Eve. It was my co-star in. Okay, well, I'd say co-star, but I mean, I'm not starring. It was the actor I was alongside with was Charles Venn. He was a show regular, and it was absolutely amazing. He taught me a lot. He taught me a very good lesson that I still in my head I'm gonna keep with me for the rest of my career. It was very good. It was I properly got to because I never, in anything I did before, I was much more young. I never really had the sort of feeling that I was actually working. It was just doing something I like to do. And I still had that with Casualty, but I probably had that feeling of we're sort of feeding our lines with trying something new, different every take. And Charles Venn was giving me advice. The director was giving me advice, and we were just sort of bouncing off one another. It was really good. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not as high pressured as Killing Eve.
Yeah, it wasn't as high pressure, but it was still, obviously you don't want to mess up, but it was good. Mm.
Yeah, no, you still don't want to mess up again. I understand that, but you don't have the massive worry of Killing Eve because they only have a certain amount of time, whereas Casualty's almost full. Apart from the last 3 months, it's almost filming all the time. So they don't have as much. Obviously, coronavirus has shut everything down, but that's a different story. Mm-hmm. Yeah. But normally Casualties are kind of mostly on a roll basis. Because it's more like a soap than a drama. It's a continuing drama.
Yeah. I think, because they would have, around this time now, around this summertime, they would have started probably filming the next season, because they Casualty films always around like July or August, I think, because that's when I did it. and it was hot, but it was in Cardiff. It was the BBC studios in Cardiff, and same sort of set. It was a massive sort of venue, but it was a connected sort of set, and the second part of the set was where Doctor Who was filmed, which I thought was pretty cool. But I took a train to Cardiff, and I went on and off. It was like a week and a half, the whole process. So filming and all that, it was a week and a half. But yeah,
It was one episode you were in, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's only episode 14, I think. Yeah, episode 14, because they were debating whether to stretch the rest into like the episode just before 13 or the one just after, but no, they managed to fit everything in into one episode. So yeah, I think episode 14. Yeah.
That was bad. I watched Casualty, so I love it. So I saw it when it went out live, not knowing that didn't connect you and Killing Eve. Didn't connect the two parts.
Yeah,
not the connect parts.
You can actually see what my face looks like in Casualty.
Yes, you can.
But then again, I'm pretty sure I get another bruise, don't I? I'm sure I get something else. Oh yeah, there we go.
Yep. So yeah,
looks much more like a delinquent.
You look more like yourself than you do in Killing Eve. You've less bandages, but you've probably got the same amount of bruises.
Yeah.
But you don't get your neck snapped in this episode of Casualty. That's the only biggest difference.
Yeah.
You come out at semi better.
Yeah. I don't die this time.
Well, you don't die. No, that's definite. You don't die. That's another spoiler in case I don't think anybody watches that behind.
Because I asked Charles Venn like what happens after these characters, because I didn't watch like the start of that season. I think it was season 38. I didn't watch the start, and I was like, how do they just fit in these characters? Aren't I supposed to? Because they just introduced these characters just like that, and all of a sudden Charles Venn's character knows CJ like his nephew. I mean, there was definitely that sort of father-son chemistry or uncle-nephew kind of chemistry. But yeah, it was just they just fit it. Yeah, they just fit it in like that without any sort of preparation. So it was a bit of.
That's why it's been running for 20 years. I think it's been running for 20 years. So certainly, it's just had a bit. Just had a big birthday. It's just about to have a big birthday. I'm not sure whether it's just or. It's certainly had a big birthday recently. Or having. Mazzy wants to know if you could go back on Casualty, because people do go. They go as a one-time thing and then they go back. They can do that. Would you go as a long-running doctor or paramedic, or would you go as a kind of long-running patient?
Patient.
You do a patient.
Yeah, the patient, because patient is just more fun. I think because when I was among the casts playing the other cast members that were regulars and as doctors, they had all these super big mumbo jumbo medical vocabulary that they just during the live they just spat out just like that. I was like, what does that mean? And when you have big words like that, and you want to try and sort of switch it up every sort of take, I know I mess up a lot of the takes, and I mess up the lines, and I just get so I think for that reason I'd rather be a patient. And I think being a patient just grants you more freedom. You're not always in the hospital. You're always like you can be in other sort of locations, which I find pretty cool.
But so can the doctors. You do see the doctors at home and stuff as well, and then pubs and walking down the street when it's snowing. I just remember because you were there. Did you get to work with Duffy? The character? No, obviously that's not an actress. I can't think of her name. She left the season. She was still there when you were there, but she left that season. She died at the end of that series.
Oh no, I don't know. I don't think.
No, I'm trying to think. I'm trying to think back to the episode now. I don't think you were ever in. Certainly on any major scenes with Duffy. That's definite. But no, I just remember that she obviously stuck in your mind because she left that season. That was the reason I mentioned her. Olivia wants to know if you could be in any other soap, what would it be and why? Or who would you play? Not why. Who would you play?
In any other soap? Well, I don't watch soaps a lot, but I think if I were to be, if I were to be in another soap, it'd probably be EastEnders, because that is just, it's the most iconic of soaps, and my grandmother watches it, so
There we go.
there's that. I don't know which character. I don't know which character I'd be, but yeah, it's just.
With that accent, you don't sound like you come from the East End.
I know. But then again, when I was auditioning for Casualty, I went through the lines with the director, and the director and the casting director, and I did the lines. So he liked it, and I was like, since CJ is sort of from the streets, I can sort of try and put on a road accent to see if he likes it better. It's just to try out. Because the audition was an hour and a half from where I lived, so I wasn't just going to go in. That happens all the times with auditions. You travel for so long just for a 5-minute meeting, and then bang, next one in. So I was like, we can sit here for a long time. I
Travelled. I'm going to make my time up.
Exactly. I'm going to take my time. So I was like, I can do different accents, see what you like. So I did a road accent, and he liked it a lot. So I think, yeah. I think, because now I think about it, if I didn't sort of try out that accent, I might have not had the role. Which just goes to show that if you're in an audition, just seize the moment, try everything you can.
Yeah, you don't know you might think it'll be bad, but they might think it's good. So you don't know what they're looking for. That's the thing. That's some good advice there. So that's us at the end of the fans' questions. So you can relax slightly. All we've got left is your not so quick fire round.
Not so quick fire round, yeah.
Now, normally for the fans at home, they'll understand. Normally, it's very musical themed, but we have changed it for you because obviously you haven't done any musicals. So we've changed it. Don't worry. So the first question hasn't changed.
Yeah.
What would be your dream role? One that's been made up, so one that you can think of that's already been done.
Dream role as in?
TV, film, whatever, theatre.
So there is...
Or to redo something.
There's mainly two, I think, very like a dream, like it'd be pretty cool if I could. So it's Peter Parker Spider-Man and James Bond. So Peter Parker, because he was my favorite superhero, avid MCU fan, and I feel like I look like a Peter Parker. I feel
actually, yes.
Pierre is the French version of Peter, so I think that just seals the deal. To be honest, I think just because of that, I think Marvel should just give me should just step down from Tom Holland and just give me the role. But yeah,
it's that easy. Unfortunately, we have no connections with DC, so the chances of seeing this, I'll forward it on to them, right?
Yeah, try and do that. That'll be amazing. So yeah, the Spider-Man. But the thing is, also that role, like Spider-Man is a role known for how much pressure it brings onto the actor, because as soon as Tom Holland was announced as Spider-Man, or as soon as the first film came out, everyone was immediately like, oh, who's better Spider-Man? Andrew Garfield, Tobey Maguire, is it Tom Holland? Like, it's always been that rivalry between these actors who play Superman roles. I just think we could just do without all the rivalry. You can just prefer who you prefer and just go about your day. But I think, yeah, so it's Spider-Man and then James Bond, because how can you not want to play James Bond? I think if I were a bit taller and maybe looked a bit more, older, definitely, because I've got too much. My baby face is not threatening enough for James Bond, but I need to, I think look much more older and then see how I feel. If they propose, I'm definitely jumping on that bandwagon, that James Bond bandwagon, 100%.
Well, if they can put it this way, if they can make a female Doctor Who, then they can do a younger James Bond. So you never know. It could do anything.
Mm.
Yeah,
It is a-
again,
it is
I'll
a
put
big-
it into and I'll send it to Sam Mendes, right?
Yeah,
Send it
yeah,
because I think he's
yeah.
directing
We
the
can do
new one,
that.
isn't he? Because Daniel Radcliffe, not Daniel Radcliffe. Daniel Craig is leaving, so there is a position there.
Yeah, he is. This is No Time to Die is his last one, isn't it?
Yeah,
And because of the whole corona, like it was supposed to be released in April. That is months ago. That is so. I'm waiting on Tenet to come out. It was supposed to come out like at the end of this month or last month. I think it was end of this month. But I'm leaving on August, and they've moved it again to mid-August, so I won't be able to watch it. So it's a shame, but I'll see if I can go watch it when I come back. Yeah.
I'm sure it will be there. I'm sure it will all happen. But what would be your dream TV show to have a role in?
Dream TV show to have a role in. Existing TV show? Well,
Yeah,
obviously.
an existing one. Yeah.
I was going to make up a TV show.
I was just, unless you can make up one, then go ahead.
I think, I mean, obviously, like Stranger Things is one of the first TV shows that comes to mind, especially when you're a teenager. But the thing is, I watched Stranger Things after the whole hype, after everyone was watching it. It was still a long time ago, but I watched it after everyone else watched it, just to see what all the hype was about, and loved it. It was amazing TV series. Everyone, all of the ensemble, each one of them amazing. But I feel like all of them, like Finn Wolfhard, Millie Bobby Brown, all of them, I think you sort of see them as the sort of Stranger Things roles, and so I think if there's sort of a thing that I would prefer to avoid during my career is having a role that just defines me as an actor, and just
Like Fiona with Harry Potter's aunt.
yeah, and just Daniel Radcliffe, although he's been in amazing and tons of other really good productions, he will always be known as Harry Potter. See,
The three main ones there will definitely Rupert, Hermione,
exactly.
Emma, sorry, and
I feel because I feel it's the same with Millie Bobby Brown. She'll always be known as 11, and I think that when you do like a sort of a kids show, I can't remember if there's swearing in that, but if it's when like they do like a sort of a kids show, like you always have to be careful of.
I wouldn't class it as a kids show.
Yeah,
I wouldn't let a kid. I wouldn't necessarily watch a kid watch it.
Yeah, but I think yes, obviously, if they did offer me a role for Stranger Things, I would absolutely not deny it. I mean, who would? But yeah, I think probably Stranger Things.
Stranger Things, that's great. So we've all been in lockdown recently.
Yeah.
Have you found anything that's binge watchable? I don't know if that's an actual saying, but
binge watchable. Now the thing is, I'm much more of a film watcher than
Right.
I am a TV show watcher. I am trying to, especially during this lockdown, I'm trying to watch as many films as I can, because to me, one of the best feelings in the world, apart from obviously acting, is talking to your friends about film, and them just bring up these films and usually being, oh yeah, watch that, and then I bring another film, oh yeah, watch that too. I just find that it's a weird flex, but I love that. It brings me so much satisfaction. So I've been watching all these different films, and can a film be binge worthy? Binge watch?
well, yeah, because I kind of see this. If there's more than one of that series, I think it would be classified.
Anything in the MCU, any Marvel movie, that's binge watchable. Wolf of Wall Street is a film that you can never
Fantastic, yeah.
a film you can never be sort of uninterested by. It's always amazing. What else? I've watched Last Black Man in San Francisco. I really like that. That was a really good film.
I like that.
Yeah. It was for all my all my. If for anyone that wants to sort of move away from the sort of American blockbuster American films, there's a French film La Haine, starring Vincent Cassel. I don't know if anyone. I don't know if you know if you watched it, but that is amazing.
I haven't, but I do like. I have
Yeah.
seen some French films in the past.
Yeah. La Haine, that's a really good film to watch, and also The Untouchables, well, Les Intouchables, as I like to say, because The Untouchables is the American version with Bryan Cranston and Kevin Hart, which I haven't watched, and I don't think I ever will. For respect,
I've seen both, but the French is definitely better.
Yeah, that's the thing, because they're French. Like they really nailed that film, and I just I love both of them, but I knew that when they made the American version, like there's some films are not supposed to be remade. Like
America doesn't know that. Hollywood doesn't understand that.
Someone needs to talk to Hollywood and tell them that remakes, sequels never really end up better.
Sequels is okay. It's when they remake something.
Yeah,
like don't remake it.
Yeah, remakes.
Like, sequels is bad sometimes. I can understand the sequel's never usually as good as the original, but
sequels can be good, but it's the remakes that you have to watch out.
It's the remakes. I'm like, really? Like you're watching all these live action Disney movies, and I'm like, why have these been remade? Like some of the Lion King's fantastic, don't get me wrong, but Aladdin, I'm like, really? Why
I didn't watch that one. I didn't watch that one. But I watched the Lion King remake, and before watching it, I went online and I saw that it received so many hate. It was like, the animals are CGI'd like too good, so we can't really see any of the emotion on their face. And like, I found it pretty enjoyable. Like I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it. I liked it, but it wasn't. I think obviously everyone loves the animated version. It's just better. But then
it was definitely the animated version was better, definitely. But yeah, I think
Charlie's Angels remake. I haven't bothered watching that. I don't think I ever will. That one properly bombed at the box office. The Ghostbusters one, the all-female Ghostbusters, was a great idea, because obviously all-female parts is fantastic idea, but yes, it didn't do as well in the box office as the original. Remakes they're currently, they've just announced, they announced about a year ago that they're remaking Mrs. Doubtfire. Oh, really?
I'm like, why are they doing that? Like, the man is going to tell in his grave. That's all I'll say. Anyway, last question. What's your top 5 shows or films?
Okay, I should have made a list for this. You know what? Because I keep thinking of my top like 5 favorite films, but I keep forgetting some of them. But I'm going to make the list right now as we speak. So my favorite ever film, Whiplash. Favorite film ever.
Wait, the drama?
The drumming one. Absolutely incredible. Amazing.
We'll talk about that more after we've stopped recording.
It's super it is not one part where it's not entertaining. It's like Miles Teller, like he's an actor that already knew drumming before, which obviously helped tremendously when they were filming. And he was like genuinely doing all that jazz drumming during in those takes. So that must have been super hard. And J.K. Simmons, I mean, I don't have to say anything. It was J.K. Simmons, you know. He's just and another thing that I find amazing about J.K. Simmons is, like, as we talked about earlier, an actor only being known for his role, as in one of his main roles. I only knew J.K. Simmons as the Spider-Man in Sam Raimi's Spider-Man with Tobey Maguire. What's his name? He's sort of the newspaper sort of a director that laughs.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. I only knew him as that. I thought, it's that. What's his name from the Daily Bugle?
Terrible names, but I know exactly what you're talking about. Yeah, I know exactly.
And I watched Whiplash, and J.K. Simmons is Fletcher now. That's who he is now. I mean, it was amazing. So Whiplash is 1. In 2, Moonlight. Moonlight, Barry Jenkins. That
the one that won the Oscar.
The one that won the Oscar. The one that
it didn't win, but actually did win.
Didn't win, but actually won.
Yeah.
That one I watched it for the first I watched it for the first time, and like I never saw a movie like that, because like I never saw anything that it really sort of resonated. Like it was amazing, and the three acts in the play, and having the protagonist grow up through all these stages, through all these these three different chapters, and each and every one of those actors, they killed it. They killed it. It was amazing. And there's a song from the score of, by the way, the whole score of Whiplash I've downloaded on my phone. I've listened to countless times.
The score in Whiplash is fantastic.
The Damien Chazelle always works with, I can't remember his name, but he always works with the same team for score, same as La La Land. He always works with the same sort of music team. Absolutely amazing. And there's one song in the score of Moonlight that just gives me shivers. Amazing. So Moonlight is in number 2. Number 3, Joker. Absolutely love Joker. Joaquin Phoenix is my favorite actor ever. Absolutely favorite actor. I don't really know why. I mean, I've never really known why, but one day he was just, well, he's my favorite now. I've seen most of his films, and he just sees it. It just exceeds my amazement all the time, and you just can't not love Joaquin Phoenix. And Joker was, I watched it in the cinemas, and there was not one moment where I wasn't on the edge of my seat. There was, what's his name? What's the director's name again? From Joker.
The only director I can name is Tarantino, and I doubt that's him. He's the only director. I'm terrible with director names.
Tarantino, by the way, favorite director. We're born on the same day, so.
Why are you so?
We're born on the same day, so.
Like 3 years between you.
A couple of years between us, but I think
you're either insulting yourself or complimenting Tarantino. I'm not quite sure.
I know. So because I really want to be like, if I get the opportunity to be in like his last film, and the filming is in the sort of early stages of the year, we celebrate birthday together. There'll be a highlight of my life. I'm just putting it out there. But so Joker is just amazing. Kept super tense the whole way through, and the performance was impeccable. Like it was amazing, like to a fault. You cannot fault. Like it was just, he is now Joaquin Phoenix. He is a Joker, and I remember like there was so much hype around this Joker release. I was like, oh, Joaquin Phoenix, who's in a superhero movie, but not kind of, like it's still kind of an adult kind of a film. But it was executed perfectly, and I loved every single minute of it.
My problem with that is you'll never beat Heath Ledger.
Yeah, that's the thing.
My Joker.
That's the thing, because Joaquin Phoenix didn't mess up the Joker like Jared Leto. Now, I'm not gonna lie, I didn't hate Jared Leto's performance. I just thought the thing with Jared Leto is that he was trying too hard to overtake Heath Ledger. He was trying too hard to make it better. Joaquin Phoenix just made his own Joker.
Yeah, it was completely different.
It was still equally as amazing. But obviously, I think Heath Ledger's Joker is much more iconic. So that's the third. In fourth, Shawshank Redemption.
Oh,
Shawshank Redemption. That is a classic that everyone should go see. Absolutely everyone. If you have not seen Shawshank Redemption, then reevaluate your life decisions. Like it's.
I don't need to have seen it.
Redemption. That is an absolute classic. And then I think. I think we'll have to go with fifth last one. I've got so many more films, but I think my fifth last place goes to Django Unchained. Yeah, goes to Django Unchained.
It was like the Oscars there. So the last place goes to drum roll.
Django Unchained. There you go. And a lot of people have
Another
been
classic,
waiting
yes.
on my wise words of judgment there. Django
Some
Unchained,
good
yeah,
films.
completely all amazing. All films that I hope most people have already watched, because I hope I'm not showing these films like these are new things to watch. Like I hope everyone's already seen this, but in my opinion, these are amazing. You can watch them whenever you want, and you'll never be uninterested by them. Always love them, but amazing. So those
You've
are my
actually got me
favorite.
going to watch Whiplash tonight. I'm literally
Really?
going to go again.
Well,
I've seen it, but I've seen it loads. But I'm about to go watch
amazing.
it again. You put it
Yeah,
back in my head. But
that's
but
good.
that's
That's
us.
good.
You've reached the
That's
end.
us. Thank you.
No
Thank you
bother
for
at all.
having me.
The last thing that we get people to do, before you run off, is have you heard of the Ice Bucket Challenge?
Yes, I've heard about the Ice Bucket Challenge. Yeah.
Right. We're not going to get you to do it. You can relax. Right. we only
It's been raining.
mention
It's
it
been
to
raining
get
for
it.
the past week in London right now. I was really
I
scared you were
know.
going to make me do the Ice Bucket Challenge.
Not at all. Not at all. We just do it for that reaction, just to see the reaction. Basically, the only reason we mention it
that's
is
a good
you
one. That's
did
a
the
good
Ice
one.
Bucket Challenge, and then you had
Yeah.
to nominate somebody.
Yeah.
So the whole point is we have come up with the West End Talks nomination. So now that you've gone through the pain of getting your fans' questions, it's now time to inflict that pain on somebody else.
Oh.
So we would like you on camera to nominate somebody. It can be anyone from theatre, film, or TV. Preferably somebody you know, because the point is to try and get them in to do the talk.
Yeah.
You can name as many as you want, but obviously a minimum of one, because doing none's no point. So who would you like to nominate?
Okay. Okay. I've got this one person in mind. So he goes to my. Does he have to be famous?
No, he has to have done something that the public would know. Yeah, because they try and get questions in.
Okay. Well, so there's this. I've got one of my friends that goes to my drama school. That's also with my agency, Javier Mora Spencer. Avid musical and theatre. He's an enthusiast. He's a connoisseur of everything musical and theatre, and he was in The Irishman quite a few years back, around the same time as I did Don Quixote, I think. And I'm sure that he would love to come on this platform to talk about anything relating to theatre.
That's it. Anything at all.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to just be theatre, because we have now branched out into TV and film as well. So it can be anything at all. So yeah, that's fantastic.
Regularly watches musicals and theatre, so he loves that. So
fantastic. So what you do then is go on to Twitter once we're finished, put up a tweet along the lines of "just had my talk with West End Talks." Always tagging us in it. Now it's your turn, and tag them in the post.
Okay.
To try and get them in.
So you want me to? So I put out a tweet saying that I've just.
You don't have to do it right now. We'll do it later. We can send you a message and we can sort that out. It doesn't have to be right this second.
Okay.
But that's us. All that's left for you guys at home to remember is the charity. Please, if anything you can donate to Acting for Others, the link will be in the bio below. It's a very much needed charity. It helps all actors and support staff, so all backstage crew, front of house, all the rest of it. They help everybody. So anything at all you can donate, pop it in the link in the bio. That'd be very grateful. It'll go straight to Acting for Others. And that's us, guys. We have now reached the end of season 1. We will be back next week with season 2. We'll keep an eye on our social medias. We'll fill you in to who's coming onto that series. But once again, Pierre, thank you very much.
Thank you
for joining us. It's been an absolute pleasure. And guys, take care. Bye now.
Thank you.